Hey guys, what is up? NYKia31 here, Madden 20 EA Early Access. I want to talk about spot drop versus match coverage. I'm going to start out here with cover three. I don't know if I'll be able to get to quarters. There's a whole heck of a lot of stuff to decipher as far as what's going on with quarters. I'm still honestly trying to make sense of what is happening match-wise, where, when, and how, and what isn't. And might be able to get to cover two, but I'm going to start out with cover three since I think cover three is the most basic to understand when it comes to spot drop versus match and the strengths and weaknesses of both, and also the fact it'll be easy to illustrate how there's zero, I mean zero, none, no trips checks in the game for any match coverages, none. When Clint said in that stream that nothing had been touched since the beta regarding zone coverage, he was not lying. Not a lie was told there. So anyway, spot drop cover three. I'm in single high, they're showing press. It wouldn't matter if they were in too high alignment or in an off coverage. Nothing changes as far as responsibility-wise goes. You have your center field safety in the middle of the field, responsible for numbers to numbers. That's an awful lot of space, which is why everyone and their mother wants an Eddie Jackson and an Earl Thomas. You have your corners covering the deep third, playing with outside leverage, trying to get on top of fades and corners. This will leave them susceptible to the intermediate out, curl, and comeback route, which is why you have that curl flat defender there, overhung or overhanging on the slot and the slot tight end. Their job is to, in a set like this, their first priority is to not allow a free release down the seam. Since it's a spot drop coverage, any free release down the seam is death for this defender here. So put him in a bind where he's always wrong. If he breaks on the guy on the left, they'll throw down the seam to the right, and vice versa. They drop to about a depth of 10 to 12 yards, play curl to flat, deep to short. The hook zone defenders, they play hook to curl, and their job, once those seam threats are rerouted or obstructed, their job is to shrink, I can't speak this morning, is to shrink the hole between them and the safety as much as possible, and then work back for crossers and backs leaking out down across the middle of the field, short. And we're in your, standard 2x2 4 verts. We'll just get off Davis here. And we're just going to look at how the routes are distributed. So you see the seams get collisioned. Wow, he hung on to that. Jesus. Now the problem here, what I don't like how Miles Jack to the right cheats down on the back. I like the way the guy on the left drops. He routes inside. I like to see the receivers fight and not just give themselves up to be rerouted inside. Is it just an automatic, chuck and release? Does not matter if that's, in this case, D.D. Westbrook. That could be Julio Jones. It can be Antonio Brown. It can be anybody. They'll always be chucked inside. And this is a good width and depth there. And that'll lead to a bang-bang throw, theoretically, between him and the safety here. Miles Jack, I believe, he reacts way too soon to that underneath ball. Underneath route here. You want them to throw this. Let them throw this all day. Let them dump that down under 5 yards, and then you all converge and crack them in the mouth and make them go back to the huddle yelling at the quarterback for throwing it to him. But after the reroute here, he comes up way too soon. That opens up a giant hole. The one on the left was much tighter. It was a bang-bang throw. Like I'll throw it to the left, and you'll see it. And that's a really inaccurate throw by Nick Foles. I tried to lead him to the inside. Let me try down pass lead and see what happens. I mean, I can live with that. Close on the ball and kill him. If I lead him away, the corner can come off. Because again, the corner is bailing. Now that I haven't seen, he hung on to it, but that I haven't seen since Madden 15. Richard Sherman used to do that all the time, where he would play bail, come off, and close on the seam route. Now, people thought that that was cheating, and I can understand why, because, again, displaying proper technique would go a long way towards alleviating that. The corner really is looking from 1 to 2. He's splitting the difference here. Again, he's bailing out. So if the ball goes to number 2, he'll try to drive on it. Because the way the game animates and he has his head, facing the receiver, the AI knows the ball is out now. So then he closes on it and creates a bang-bang play. But the other side is more problematic because, again, Jack just comes down way too soon, and you can just hit that in front of the guy all day long. I can live with a bang-bang play. I just cannot live with just a free release down the seam. If I keep the back end of the block, his depth is just fine. I just want to show the depth of the drops. That's all I'm really focusing on. You could attack this running pole, deep outside, out route. The reason why that is open is because that corner in the slot, his first priority he cannot allow a free release down the numbers. And because the corner is bailing, that's underneath him. That's one of the ways you attack to the outside in the intermediate sideline area. And you'd run your curl flats. I'm just hot routing to it instead of just choosing a new play. You can either hit him underneath that.
Be alert! Be alert! They found one. Hey, Team 6! Team 6! You're done!
Common single high beater there. You can run.
Girl.
Hoss, hitch outside, slot seam. I'm just going to change them to smoke routes instead of hot routing to a new play. It's the same concept. They back off, they bail out of there, just throw it underneath. See him come back as another good spot drop cover 3 stressor. Remember, he has to collision that route. He cannot let that seamer run down the field unobstructed. That frees up the deep comeback. Obstructs the seam, and you gotta remember, he's never going to see this. I mean, we have a God view, so we can see it. He can't. So, for all he knows, he's on the lookout for a crosser coming across the backside. There's no way he's ever going to get back to cover that. It's impossible. There's not a defender on the planet that can do that. So that leaves you your hole there. If you want to commit to taking that away, if you go over the top and want that guy to skate out there, you lose your redirect. And it's wide open. Detached wide receiver sail concept. Just going to shoot the receiver on a streak. Again, the receiver will be running off the corner. And you hit that right behind that curl flat defender.
Great.
Inline tight end sail. I don't like inline tight end sail as much because there's more traffic for him to negotiate and it just takes longer to get going. But you have the same stretch, run off the corner. You have the table route there. They're going to flip the curl flat defender. He either comes down or opens up a window behind him and in between him and the curl defender. Either or. On the backside, you have a hitch and a square in. If the backer hits on the hitch, you got that. And really, in the spot drop scenario, what Miles Jack would do once he's expanded and he's cleared him, he'd work back to the backside. You see him just climbing the pocket and delivering that. The hook backer here, he sits on the hitch. Again, let him throw that. It's more important to shrink this window than to close on that. You want him to throw that. You know, you're a linebacker. Let the little man hit that, come up and blast him. So again, he goes back to the huddle and screams at his quarterback. Because you got that window here. And since he's expanded so wide, he can't work back there, obviously. I mean, even if he did work back there, it wouldn't be a play that he could make. Or just expand and then work back. And you see here, the stretch here, he gets run off. And there's a hole here. Because again, you got to remember, he's not going to be able to see him. He's going to see him first. And the hole is there. You know, that's how route combos are designed. They're not just arbitrary lines that someone drew out there just for kicks and giggles. They serve a purpose. Now, those are your common spot drop beaters. Enter. Let me get the right controller. Cover 3 match. The difference you see here is that instead of curl flats, you have seam flats. If those seam defenders go vertical, man-to-man coverage. If they go under, they're your normal cover 3 curl flat defenders. Nothing changes if they go under. Nothing changes for the corners either. Nothing changes for the hook to curl defenders unless the back wheels out. I'll show you later in a little bit. So all verticals, run. Man-to-man coverage. So now that hole between the hook curl defenders and in front of the safety is accounted for because you're now matching their routes man-to-man. If the receiver goes under, nothing changes. He's now a curl flat defender again. Let's put him
Under. Hey, high 7. Let's go.
now he goes to the curl flat. See? Now, what if they do something like this, NY Kia? If they do that, the hook linebacker runs with them. You see Ramsey's playing man-to-man. So now to account for that, this hook curl defender is responsible for the back. Let's run drive wheel. Under. Wow, someone got ripped on a double move. Jeez. Under. Wheels out. Now, this is tough on the seam flat and the hook to curl because you see the guy wheeling out and he reacts to that first, and you see the vertical there, and the hook to curl comes down. Ideally, you'd like to see the hook to curl robot the crosser, rob him across the field, but he's just kind of caught in no man's land. The other one comes down, and you see on the left side, there he is, just kind of caught in no man's land. So that guy's going to be wide open. There that is again. To the left there, you see the post route being matched with a seam flat defender there. And the corner on the outside, he just gets destroyed by the double move. My God, that is ugly. He just gets ripped. Jeez. My word. Lordy. Let's run our sail with the wide receiver again. Now the seam flats are man-to-man. This becomes a man coverage contest. And that should have been completed. That's a man-to-man contest. So, in real life, to play match coverage, you need guys who can obviously convert to play man-to-man, so they have to be able to play in space and transition from zone to man coverage. You also need guys who are really adept at recognizing route combinations. In real life, teams that play match coverage, they drill and practice route combinations over and over and over and over again, and they communicate so that when they see a route stem developing, they instinctively know or can recognize what's likely to be coming. Now, of course, the bus match coverage, what teams do, they like to, do what I showed earlier. They run a double move. They'll run, two-way goes. They'll use stack releases to screw up the defender's reads, stuff like that. That's the gist of it. So if you ask, well, why doesn't everyone play match coverage? That's why. You need guys who can diagnose routes as well as play man-to-man if needed out of their zone coverage responsibilities. And really, the Pats are the best team in the league, in my opinion, at attacking this scheme because they've seen it so much. They've played Seattle. They've played the Falcons. They've played the Chargers. They've seen this an awful lot, and their offense is also designed to just be very tough to bag in zone coverage with the combination of Tom being Tom and the bevy of choice routes that they run. So you think all is good, right? Well, unfortunately, you have to be able to play trips. Now, the trips check for cover 3 match is Mabel. All Mabel is that the solo side wide receiver is man-to-man. That's pretty much it. Man everywhere he goes. Doesn't matter if he runs a drag, a slant, an out, a streak, a post, a curl, no matter what, he's man-to-man. And they will kick the coverage to the strong side of the formation. In fact, some teams call it cover 3 kick, cover 3 push, whatever. Nothing else would change. Seam flat would match vertical. The number 3 receiver, in this case Conley, would be walled off by the hook zone defenders. But what happens is you see number 3 running right down the field. Unobstructed, unmatched. He does a good job here, actually. That surprised me, to be honest with you. Robots the crosser. He jam and redirects, but does not match. He does not wall off. Safety's in La La Land, and he's free with all that space. And plus you have this coming down here as well. So to make matters worse than that is that you don't have a solo side match either. Now the way that should be handled, and there's a couple of ways you could handle this. Saban Belichick school is he will just carry him vertical, and he will backtrack to close on the back crossing. Other way you can do it, this is how Clemson does it. He'll almost play it like he was playing a quarter flat in quarters. He'd carry and bracket and then come down to cut underneath. But, you have neither. So you see, that's a problem. That's an issue. Low pass possession caught that one. I mean, it's there all day. You see it. Now, obviously, if you have a brain in your head, you would know after a rep or two, if you were to play and stay in that, you would need to use the seam flat yourself first, for first. And in an online game, I can make adjustments to protect myself, but it's the principle of expecting match to be match. If I want to play spot drop, I would just play spot drop. I expect match rules to be an account for both 2x2 and one trips check. I've gone away from, I don't need every match check in the game. I don't need box. I don't need for quarters, every quarters check in the game. Just give me the proper trips check for quarters. Give me one for palms, and I can make it work. Give me my trips check for match. I can adjust for the rest. So that's something that needs to be addressed. I do not like that match reverses spot drops versus trips. It just defeats the entire purpose of having it in your playbook. If you can only use it for 2x2 sets, might as well just play man coverage. So anyhow, that is that. Hope you guys enjoy. Talk to you all later. Strong flood, trips, against cover 3 match. And again, this will illustrate that the trips check is not in the game. Trips check for this would be Mabel, like I said, with the 4-verse example. So in this route combination, the solo side receiver will be manned up on that square in. Seam flat would match vertical. So on that deep out route, he'd be playing man-to-man. And nothing changes with a deep third corner. Now, because the seam flat would be playing man-to-man, the hook curl defender has to replace him. And nothing would change for the backside hook defender. Because it's not in the game, it's just spot drop central, and you got your massive hole there for that flood, that out route on the flood concept, which should get open against spot drop. Because again, you're running off the corner, and that guy's replacing him. But match is designed to combat those type of traditional spot drop cover 3 concepts. And if it's not in the game versus trips, I can't play match versus trips. Now, obviously, if I'm playing in an online ranked game, I know this, so I can make adjustments to accommodate it. But again, the principle is you have cover 3 match in the game. I expect it to work versus triple 2. I expect it to work versus trips. I expect the trips check to be there. I don't need all the trip checks that can be put into the game in the game, because there's a myriad of ways that you can tweak your coverage for different types of route tendencies. I don't need every cover 3 check in the game. I don't need every match quarters and palms check in the game. Give me the Mabel check. Give me the check for quarters, whether you choose it to be solo, stress, box, what have you. Palms as well. And have it work. That's all I ask. Just have the basic check in the game, have it work. I can make pre-snap adjustments to account for the rest of it. Because otherwise, I can't play match against trips. I have to audible to something else, either man coverage or find a match coverage play, my audibles, to have in my audibles that can accommodate it, which I'll get into when I do cover 9, cover 6, and quarters, and palms. But, cover 3 match is completely out the window versus trips or bunch. And that's a shame. That has to be corrected. Otherwise, why have it in the game? So, anyhow, that's my little rant on that to conclude this video. And I will talk to y'all later. Peace.